Bluetooth. The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Oh. Okay. There we go. Hi. So, I wanted to talk to you about my day. First, we'll start off with a reading. It's October 4th. I talk to everyone, all the time. The question is not to whom do I talk, but who listens. Wow. So that was real for today. That's interesting. So I wanted to tell you about my day because when I woke up, I had a huge surprise. So I should be getting used to this trusting and believing thing. It hit me really hard last summer. Trust and believe, trust and believe. That's all I kept hearing in my head. Just trust and believe, trust and believe. So I think tomorrow I'll tell you about that story. So today we're going to talk about what just happened today. I was woken up by my alarm and I decided to go back to sleep for a little bit. But before I decided that, no, I think it was probably after, I had seen a text message, just a little smidgen of a text message as I went to hit dismiss on my alarm from my bank. So, following my goals, passions, dreams, and desires, which ended up being MECA, as you know, brought me here to my beautiful home that I share with my children, and I love it. I mean, I manifested it with spirit because this is where I was led on this journey. Today, we're going to discuss how we trust and believe and how we're constantly presented with challenges to make us trust and believe some more. I touched on it for a second yesterday when I was talking about what a hard day I had, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was till today. Today was harder, at least for a couple hours. So when I hit snooze, I'm laying there, which is always what happens. I never go back to sleep. I'm laying there and thinking, so I don't know why I'm even snoozing. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking, I wonder if my daughter ordered something on Amazon or on Apple. I wonder if, and then I was like, yeah, I think she did. I think she was ordering her Adobe. So I relaxed for a moment. Then all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, I see another part of the text message that said something about Nike. Well, I know that my daughter wouldn't be shopping at Nike. And I sat straight up. And I grabbed my phone. And I looked at my phone. And yes, somebody went on a shopping spree on my account. So I started going into a little bit of hysterics. I held off until we were in the car where I could be seated while I was trying to figure out what was going on because there was a number so I could stop the charges. So it said, although when I called, the first customer service agent was not so helpful. So explaining any of what was happening or why she basically said there was nothing I could do today. So of course I, as an assertive person, asked for the supervisor, and the supervisor told me exactly what she did. So I was not very happy. I was pretty not trusting and believing at that moment. I was definitely stepping out of myself and only into the 3D reality. That's what I was worried about, instead of what I had been learning throughout the past year. Trust and believe, right? So, and I definitely should have after the last few months, but I guess this is the way it goes when we're learning. So, I'm really raging. I'm really out of my skin and embarrassing, very embarrassing in front of my children, because I don't want them to see me like this. That says I am fearful of my stability, which is your stability, correct? So, yeah. I drop my kids off at school and go back home and turn my music on and get ready for a shower because I need to reset. I needed to completely reset. And I text a couple of friends, one out of the blue, haven't heard from him months, told him what's going on, told another one what was going on, told another one. Probably I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do. So the first one says he spent too much money in Vegas. He feels really bad for me though. The other one asks me how much I would need to make my rent, but doesn't really offer anything. And then the third one offers a solution on how to handle this ordeal. So as my heart was racing even with these other two, because I wasn't getting any solutions, I wasn't getting really any help. You know, like, yeah, that's great, I love talking to you, wonderful, great, hi. Can you help me so I can keep my beautiful home? And so my rent's due tomorrow, yeah. And so when I'm at the bank, or when I'm at home, my last friend offers me a solution on how to deal with this. And that it's really not as big of a deal as I'm making it, because people go through this all the time and people understand and will definitely be able to just help me. Somebody will be able to help me. Just relax. He knows the protocol. So this is how you do it, step by step. So I actually immediately felt better because I had a solution. You know, nobody had to give me money in order to even make me feel better. So he offered a solution. So that's one, was just taking the time to even, or the space, the mental clarity, stepping away from the problem to find the solution. Made me feel better. I got in the shower, a solution, possible solution, at least, okay? I got in the shower and really, you have to understand now, like, before, when I was, after I had dropped my kids off, I was like crying. I was summoning my guides and angels and ascended masters to help me. And really, I was like kind of getting angry because it was like, how am I being put in these situations over and over that are like ridiculous, and I'm supposed to just trust and believe? Can't just everything start working out perfectly? So, I mean, don't you understand? I'm doing everything you say. So why can't it just like be working out perfectly? But the thing is, it always is working out perfectly. I'm just the one who's worrying that it won't, but it always does. So trust and believe, trust and believe, trust and believe. You know, it's like when I said it's hard and there's like sticky situations sometimes. There are. And I do, forget to ask for guidance, to rely on the guidance at the appropriate time. Like, I could have done it earlier, and I could have relaxed a lot earlier. I could have reached out to a couple of friends before calling anybody. There were several things I could have done differently so that I didn't have to go through that energy bomb that was wasted. I could have had all kinds of energy to do all kinds of crap, but instead I used it up by freaking out this morning. But it did give me, clarity later. So I just want to tell you what happened. So I get done with my shower, feeling better, happy actually, singing like, okay, everything is going to be okay. Like, I'm going to just trust and believe. And I did really think, like, before I even talked to my friends, like, okay, I know I need to go to the bank, because if I go to the bank, I can talk to somebody, and I believe somebody at the bank is going to help me. So I already was holding that thought, although that thought was like very small compared to after I talked to my friend. Then it grew. So the thought that somebody was going to help me at the bank, or there was a solution, all of a sudden, like, the ease started setting in, like that resistance started going away, like the fear, oh my God, impending doom again. Like, that's just my life, impending doom constantly, because the universe just wants to make sure that I'm clear on my position, which is trusting and believing and showing other people how, apparently. So that's why I'm sharing the story. So basically, I get in the car, go over to the bank, and I get in the car, go to the bank, talk to the host, or I guess I don't know what they're called when you walk in the door and they're ready to, think it's a host. So, and I tell her, somebody went on a shopping spree and took all my money, and my rent's due tomorrow. So, what do I do? And she was like, you know what? I have a shark for you. I have somebody who's going to fight for you. I'm like, really? Am I here? Just kidding. So she comes over, and right away there's issues with her computer, and her manager has to come over, and I didn't think she was very excited to be there, and so that kind of worried me. But, maybe she was just really serious, so about getting this work done to help. And so I didn't really focus on that. I was just focused on, what are we doing? What's the plan? So she gets on the phone with the same place that I was on the phone with, and then they have to get on the phone with me, and basically it's the same deal. They told me it's going to be 10 days, and I'm going, okay, well, do you have something that I can give my rental agency to prove that I, have this claim going? And she was like, no. And my banker was like, don't worry, I got you taken care of. Like, just giving me like these eyes and hand signals. So I was like, all right, thanks very much. I get off the phone and she was like, yes, I do have, something that you can give your rental agency. And we also will send you an email with your confirmation code and this and that, like with your claim number and everything like that. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then on top of it, this is the best part. She says that she's going to put the money back into my account when the rent comes out. Like, she is going to just put the money in my account. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, I work here, tomorrow I work here Saturday. It's no problem. I'll just watch and make sure as it's, going through your account that it just I'll just put the money back in there. And I was like, are you serious? You're an angel, obviously. Like, and when I left there, I think her name is Christy. Yeah. So, that's what I believe it is. But when I left there, all I just kept thinking was like, first I had to go to the water. I had to go to the river and ground myself next to some water, and really be able to look at it and see the changes and see all the changing leaves and, and really just be in my element of maybe safety and security. And I really felt today, and I felt it many times. This has happened many times in my life where I feel like there's no hope, and then all of a sudden there's like this huge gift. It happens all the time, actually. I shouldn't say just some of the time. It happens all the time. And I wanted to share it with you because it does happen all the time. And for me, they're magical moments. And I really think that, the trusting and believing, that all my needs are always met at all times. And I am divinely loved. I need to learn more to stay with that on a regular basis. When things do start being a little wavy, a little undertow going on. So I did want to just tell you all that, that is part of the radical self-love, is really trusting and believing that the universe has your back, it has your back. If you're doing the right things, you're working hard, if you're trying to bring people together, if you're giving yourself all that you really need, which is your love and forgiveness and support, number one cheerleader for me is right here. Number one cheerleader for you should be right there, so because I'm not alone and I can just step out of the way at times and let magic happen, trust and believe. So that's your message for today. Trust and believe. I love you. Thank you for spending the time with me today. and I'll check in with you tomorrow.